In a world where family relationships aren't always a source of comfort, sometimes the decision to distance oneself is an act of courage and self-preservation. 10 Signs That Made Me Distance Myself from My Relatives and Live Alone is more than just a story about distancing. It's a journey of self-discovery and the pursuit of peace. Each sign revealed is a doorway to understanding the impact of such relationships on our well-being. Subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. I challenge you to stay until the end and perhaps find the inspiration to forge your own path toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. Recurrent toxic behaviors. Toxic behaviors in any relationship, whether personal, professional, or familial, can create an environment fraught with negativity and stress. Behaviors such as manipulation, constant criticism, and devaluation not only erode self-esteem, but also deeply disturb a person's inner peace, making a conscious withdrawal essential in many cases to preserve mental health. Manipulation is a particularly insidious form of toxicity. It can take various forms, such as constant blame shifting, where the manipulator makes the victim feel responsible for problems that aren't theirs. Another common technique is gaslighting, which involves distorting reality to make the person doubt their own memory or perception, undermining their confidence and judgment. For example, in an intimate relationship, a partner may insist that discussed events never occurred, or that the other person's reactions are exaggerated or unfounded, leading them to question their sanity. Such attitudes can leave deep emotional scars, causing the person to feel devalued, insecure, and isolated. Moreover, constant criticism forms another example of toxicity that can devastate a person's self-image. When someone is continually criticized for their actions, choices, or even their personality, this uninterrupted criticism can diminish their sense of self-worth. If these criticisms come from significant individuals, such as family members, close friends, or leaders at work, the impact is even more profound. Imagine being in a work environment where a superior constantly criticizes your efforts, never acknowledging your achievements, but always pointing out flaws or inadequacies. This atmosphere not only affects motivation for work, but can also seep into other aspects of life, leading to doubts about one's own competence and worth. These toxic behaviors, when persistent, justify a conscious decision to distance oneself. The goal of withdrawal is not only to escape a negative environment, but also an act of self-care and preservation of mental health. By withdrawing, the person has the opportunity to heal, rebuild their self-esteem, and find peace, freeing themselves from influences that hinder their personal and emotional growth. Disagreements in fundamental values. As we explore the dynamics of divergences in fundamental beliefs and values, we encounter a complex and often emotionally charged territory. These differences, when deep and insurmountable, can turn shared spaces, whether in the workplace, family relationships, or among friends, into scenes of constant tension and strain. Maintaining one's own moral and emotional integrity may require, in certain contexts, a painful but necessary decision to distance oneself. This is because each individual has a set of values and principles that guide their decisions and behaviors. When there is a substantial conflict between these values and those of others in their circle, the environment can become unsustainable. For example, consider a person who deeply values equity and social justice working in an organization that, despite proclaiming such values, acts in a diametrically opposite manner. The dissonance between what is personally valued and what is practiced in the organizational environment can generate a constant state of internal conflict, known as cognitive dissonance. This state can not only affect the person's psychological well-being, but also decrease their productivity and satisfaction with work. Similarly, in personal relationships, when fundamental values are contradictory, one can reach a point where harmonious coexistence becomes a daily battle. In these cases, distancing oneself is not an escape, but a form of self-preservation. It is a decision aimed at protecting one's own mental and emotional health, allowing both parties to find environments where they can thrive without compromising their principles. Moreover, making the decision to distance oneself from a situation where values are not shared can be an act of self-assertion. Choosing to leave a toxic or incongruent environment with our fundamental values is a powerful statement of self-esteem and self-respect. This choice, though difficult, reaffirms the importance of living according to what we consider right and true. Lack of emotional support. Emotional support is a fundamental pillar in the construction of mental and emotional well-being, functioning as a buffer against the impacts of adversities and everyday challenges. When people feel emotionally supported, they tend to develop greater psychological resilience, facing difficulties with more confidence and balance. In contrast, the absence of this support can trigger a series of negative repercussions that deeply affect an individual's mental health. Consider, for example, the situation of someone navigating through periods of intense stress, such as losing a job or relationship problems. In these moments, emotional support from friends, family, or colleagues can be crucial. It not only offers comfort and understanding, but also helps the person process their emotions in a healthier and more constructive way. Empathy and encouragement can strengthen the person, encouraging them to find solutions and maintain a positive outlook. On the other hand, the lack of this support can exacerbate feelings of isolation, sadness, and anxiety. Without someone to share their concerns and fears, a person may feel overwhelmed, perceiving their adversities as insurmountable. This emotional isolation can lead to more serious problems, such as depression and chronic anxiety, significantly decreasing the individual's quality of life. The absence of emotional support can be especially harmful in environments that should naturally be welcoming, such as the family or the workplace. When an individual does not feel supported by those closest to them, the sense of alienation can become unbearable. This often drives the search for a new environment, a place where understanding, acceptance, and emotional support are more accessible. Moving to a more supportive environment can represent a vital renewal in an individual's ability to recover and thrive. In a new context, where emotional support is abundant, the person may feel more valued and understood, factors that are essential for the recovery and maintenance of mental health. Furthermore, by making the decision to seek more supportive environments, the individual reaffirms the importance of their emotional needs, proactively choosing a path that promotes a fuller and more satisfying life. This choice not only improves the individual's mental health, but also shapes deeper and more meaningful social relationships, building a support network that can serve as a foundation for future challenges. Respecting personal boundaries. Toxic behaviors in any relationship, whether personal, professional, or familial, can create an environment filled with negativity and stress. Actions like manipulation, constant criticism, and devaluation not only chip away at self-esteem, but also deeply disturb a person's inner peace, making a conscious withdrawal often necessary to preserve mental health. Manipulation is an especially insidious form of toxicity. It can take various forms, such as constant blame shifting, where the manipulator makes the victim feel responsible for problems that aren't theirs. Another common technique is gaslighting, which involves distorting reality to make the person doubt their own memory or perception, undermining their confidence and judgment. For instance, in a romantic relationship, a partner may insist that discussed events never occurred, or that the other person's reactions are exaggerated or baseless, leading them to question their sanity. Such behaviors can leave deep emotional scars, causing the individual to feel devalued, insecure, and isolated. Moreover, constant criticism is another example of toxicity that can devastate a person's self-image. When someone is continually criticized for their actions, choices, or even their personality, this uninterrupted criticism can diminish their sense of self-worth. If these criticisms come from significant individuals, such as family members, close friends, or workplace leaders, the impact is even more profound. Imagine being in a work environment where a superior constantly criticizes your efforts, never acknowledging your accomplishments, but always pointing out flaws or shortcomings. This atmosphere not only affects motivation for work, but can also seep into other aspects of life, leading to doubts about one's own competence and worth. If you've made it this far and see value in our content, then don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and help me out by commenting on what made you want to watch this video and what you're going through today. Who knows, maybe we can help each other out in this tough time. Let's keep going. Incompatibility of lifestyles. Significant differences in lifestyles and personal choices among relatives can, over time, create a deep chasm, often difficult to bridge. These discrepancies, ranging from career choices to dietary preferences and moral values, often highlight the divergence between family expectations and each member's individual reality. Let's take the example of a young person who chooses to pursue an artistic career. While their family values traditional professions such as engineering or medicine, this gap in expectations can lead to feelings of disapproval or even rejection from the family, causing the young person to feel misunderstood and undervalued. The pressure to change course or conform to family expectations can be intense and emotionally draining. Moreover, differences in lifestyles can manifest in daily choices that, although seemingly small, have a significant impact on family dynamics. For example, decisions related to diet, such as choosing a vegan lifestyle in a family that values Sunday barbecues, can result in repeated conflicts and feelings of isolation. These choices, often seen as simple personal preferences, can carry deeper meanings about values and identity. The challenges don't stop there. Lifestyle issues also include choices about living arrangements, such as deciding to live in a big city instead of remaining in a rural community, or preferences for a more secluded lifestyle versus a more social and public one. These decisions can lead to mutual misunderstandings, with each party feeling that their choices are belittled or not respected by others. When such incompatibilities become frequent and profound, they can create a tense family environment, where communication becomes laden with judgments and misunderstandings. In this context, family cohesion can be seriously compromised, leading to emotional distancing that can be painful for all involved. In these circumstances, it may be necessary to establish open and honest dialogue, seeking mutual understanding and respect for each other's choices, even if there is not full agreement with them. However, when mutual respect proves unsustainable, it may be healthy to reconsider the nature of these relationships, adjusting proximity and interactions in order to preserve the emotional well-being of everyone involved. Unresolved conflicts. Long-standing and unresolved conflicts are like thorns buried in the dynamics of any relationship, capable of accumulating resentments that, over time, can lead to distance. These conflicts can arise from minor disagreements or deep-seated differences, but the result is often the same: a heavy emotional burden that intensifies if not properly addressed. When disputes or misunderstandings are not resolved, they don't simply disappear. Instead, these conflicts tend to settle into the foundations of the relationship, creating an unstable base. Each new argument or misunderstanding can reignite old hurts, intensifying negative feelings. Imagine a situation where two people have a serious argument that is never fully resolved. Over time, even normal interactions can start to be seen through the lens of these past resentments, distorting perception and communication between the parties. Moreover, the lack of resolution of these conflicts often hinders the growth and evolution of the relationship. Those involved may feel trapped in a repetitive cycle of fights and incomplete reconciliations, which can be exhausting and demoralizing. This is especially true in family or long-term relationships, where shared history should be a source of strength rather than constant tension. The accumulation of resentments can also create an environment where open and honest dialogue becomes increasingly difficult. Parties may start to avoid certain topics or even entire interactions, fearing reigniting old disputes. This distancing may be gradual, but once effective communication deteriorates, the relationship can begin to crumble. It may reach a point where silence between the parties is preferred to the risk of another painful argument. Eventually, if these conflicts continue unresolved, distancing may seem like the only viable solution. Stepping back can be a tough decision, but in some cases, it's necessary for the individuals involved to find peace and start healing emotional wounds. This doesn't necessarily mean the end of the relationship forever, but it may be a necessary space for reflection and personal growth. To prevent these conflicts from leading to irreparable rupture, it's crucial to address disputes openly and seek genuine resolutions. This may involve mediation by a third party, such as a counselor or therapist, who can help navigate the emotional complexities involved and work to restore mutual trust and respect. If you've made it this far, I know you may be going through some difficulties in your personal relationships. We've created an essential ebook with the best of Stoicism and the best tips for dealing with people. Additionally, there's a lot of content that can help you in your love life and finances. I'll leave the ebook link in the first pinned comment. Negative influences on personal choices. Family influence, while often well-intentioned, can sometimes steer individuals away from their own paths and dreams. This influence can take various forms, from explicit expectations about career choices to subtle pressures on lifestyles and personal decisions. When an individual feels compelled to follow a path that does not reflect their true aspirations, it can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and loss of identity, making distancing a necessary consideration to regain control of one's life. Often families have preconceived notions about what they consider success, happiness, or adequacy. And these views are passed down to younger members, sometimes in the form of pressure to follow traditions or meet family expectations. For example, a young person may have a passion for art or literature, but is discouraged by their family, who pressures them to pursue a career in law or medicine because they consider them more secure or prestigious options. This disconnect between the individual's desires and family expectations can result in a professional and personal life that feels devoid of passion and authenticity. Living up to someone else's standards can stifle creativity and enthusiasm, leading to a state of existence where one feels they are constantly playing a role that was imposed, not chosen. Distancing, in this context, is not just about seeking independence, but also an act of self-assertion. By distancing themselves from family expectations, the individual can create space to explore and develop their own aspirations. This can be extremely liberating, allowing them to rediscover who they are and what they truly want from life. Furthermore, by making the decision to follow a more authentic path, the individual may also inspire other family members to reflect on their own choices and perhaps reconsider how they impose expectations on each other. Distancing can then be seen not only as an escape from negative influences, but also as a step toward a more deliberate and conscious way of life. Lack of privacy and personal space. The need for personal space and privacy is fundamental for the development and maintenance of one's identity. These aspects are not just luxuries, but essential requirements for a person's mental and emotional health. When privacy and personal space are lacking, especially in shared environments like the family home, it can result in feelings of suffocation and loss of autonomy, often leading to the decision to live alone as a crucial step to preserve or reconstitute someone's individuality. Personal space allows people to disconnect from the demands and expectations of others, offering a refuge where they can relax, reflect, and recharge. Without this space, people often feel constantly exposed and out of control of their own lives. Privacy, in turn, is equally crucial as it allows individuals to explore their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors without external judgment or influence. Together, personal space and privacy are pillars that help sustain a stable and secure sense of self. For example, consider a young adult living in their parents' home where every aspect of their life is monitored or discussed. From leisure choices to career decisions, the lack of privacy can make them feel incapable of making decisions independently or exploring different aspects of their personality. Additionally, the lack of physical space to be alone or engage in hobbies and personal interests can create an atmosphere of constant pressure and stress. In this context, the decision to live alone can be extremely beneficial. By making this decision, the individual has the opportunity to create an environment that respects their needs for space and privacy. Living alone offers the freedom to establish one's own routines, decorate the space according to personal preferences, and most importantly, live according to one's own values and rhythms. Furthermore, living alone can be a period of significant discovery and personal growth. It can provide the opportunity to face challenges, make decisions without the immediate influence of others, and thus develop greater self-confidence and self-awareness. These experiences are vital for the formation of a mature and independent adult identity. Impact on personal development. Family relationships play a crucial role in the personal development of each individual. Ideally, the family should be the first source of support, encouragement, and unconditional love. However, it is crucial to consider how these relationships can sometimes positively or negatively influence personal growth. I encourage readers to reflect on the nature of their own family relationships and to consider whether these relationships are serving as a foundation for development or if they are in some way limiting their potential. Family should be a place where members feel safe to explore their identities, express their emotions, and pursue their passions without fear of judgment or rejection. When a family nurtures these aspects, it helps establish a solid foundation of trust and self-esteem, which are crucial for personal development. Each member should feel that their opinions and choices are valued and that they have the freedom to fail and learn from these failures within a safe environment. On the other hand, when family relationships are characterized by constant criticism, unrealistic expectations, or lack of support, significant obstacles to personal growth can arise. In these environments, trust and self-esteem can be eroded, leaving individuals reluctant to take initiative or explore new opportunities. Instead of being seen as sources of support and encouragement, these relationships can become sources of anxiety and fear. Therefore, it is essential for each person to evaluate and, if necessary, adjust the dynamics of their family relationships. Encouraging open conversations about needs and expectations can be a valuable first step. Establishing healthy boundaries and respecting others' choices and personal spaces is also fundamental. These actions not only improve the quality of family interactions, but also reinforce mutual respect and the support needed for all family members to thrive. If you find that your family relationships are more harmful than helpful to your personal development, seeking external support, such as counseling or therapy, may be helpful. Professionals can offer new perspectives and strategies to improve communication and resolve conflicts, thereby strengthening the family structure so that it can serve as a true foundation for personal growth. Search for peace and authenticity. Living alone can be seen as a brave journey towards self-awareness and authenticity, a path that, although may seem challenging initially, offers unparalleled rewards in the form of inner peace and personal growth. It's an opportunity to connect with yourself on a deeper level, to discover and reaffirm who you truly are and what you truly desire from life. By making the decision to live alone, you create a space that is entirely yours, a refuge where external pressures cannot easily infiltrate. Here, away from the expectations and judgments of others, you have the freedom to explore your passions, contemplate your choices, and most importantly, listen to your own voice. This is an environment where authenticity is not only possible, but encouraged. Within this personal space, every moment of solitude is an opportunity for growth. Whether through reading, meditation, creativity, or the simple act of being with yourself, you learn to appreciate your own company, to understand your true needs and desires. This deep self-knowledge is the key to a fulfilling and authentic life. Moreover, living alone provides the necessary peace to reflect on your relationships and interactions with the world. Away from the turmoil of daily living, you can more clearly evaluate what is beneficial and what is detrimental, making more conscious choices about how and with whom you want to share your time and energy. This lifestyle does not mean permanent isolation, but rather the ability to choose when and how to interact with others, ensuring that these interactions are genuine and enriching. It's about establishing healthy boundaries that not only protect your inner peace, but also strengthen your relationships, making them more meaningful and authentic. Thank you for getting this far. Watch the next video to continue your evolution.